Welcome to episode 8 of the Chirp Kings podcast. This is the second time you will be seeing us this week. If you haven't already, take a second, go check out episode 7. It was an absolute banger. We had our first guest on the pod.
I think it was the best episode that we put out up to this point.
Probably. I would definitely agree. It was such a good time. Just somebody we've known for a decade. Just got back from the MLB draft league. We talked all things baseball and then just some life and some fun things. So that's a great episode to check out if you haven't already.
And yeah, we haven't really talked any baseball in the podcast up to this point, but it's football season. I mean,
it is football season. But
once the playoffs start to roll around, we'll preview some of the series and matchups, that kind of stuff. We'll get into it just a little bit, but this is still going to be until about February. This is going to be a football dominant podcast. So, definitely go check out that episode. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we didn't dive so much into the MLB or anything right now, just more of his journey from D2 to D1 to now the MLB draft league and looking to get signed in the minor leagues, all those kinds of things. So it's super cool, especially to any of our young guys out there watching that are still pursuing that dream. It's cool to hear about all the different avenues and just how hard work will get you to where you want to go on that. So definitely go check that out. We're going to hop right into a jam-packed weekend of college football this past weekend. And then we've got some big matchups coming up this weekend, obviously, as you guys watch this on Thursday. So this past weekend, I think the game that stood out the most to people in terms of the final score, the final outcome, was Illinois getting boat raced by Indiana. I'm belt to ass.
It was the most points that a ranked Big Ten or top 10 or whatever had been beaten by. And it was, 63 points against the number 9 team in the country.
From the number 19 team in the country. What is it? Heisman-Doza, now as people are calling him. Fernando Heisman-Doza. Dude had 5 TDs and 800 million yards, bro. He was just running up and down the field on Illinois.
It looks like the rankings should actually have been reversed, and Indiana should have been a top 10 team this whole time.
Absolutely, and I mean, they win that game. Let's say they go beat Ohio State this year, or even if they lose to Ohio State this year, that's a statement win early in the season over a top 10 team that they didn't have at all last year. So that's going to be big for them going down the stretch of the season.
And they don't get a gauntlet of all the top 10, or not top 10, all the top Big Ten teams. So if they have one loss, maybe they don't make the Big Ten championship, but that's one of those at-large teams who
could make it in again this year.
They made it last year. They didn't really make it a game last year, but Mendoza is playing a lot better than Curtis Rourke did last year, and there's a different element to his game that Rourke didn't have.
And to that team, really, that defense played really, really well this past weekend. Not only that, you beat a top 10 team by 50. That has to count for something, even if Illinois doesn't finish top 10, top 15, even if they're 22, 23, that's a top 10 team when you're playing them. That's got to count for something that you just absolutely obliterated that squad.
That's one of those important things about rankings in college football and the schedule. People look at the matchup when you played them. LSU's win over Clemson doesn't look half as good now because Clemson's 1-3. But if you look at the schedule, that is a top 5 win for an LSU team
on the road in week 1,
and that they're going to count it as such. And they're going to do the same thing here with Indiana when they're looking at their resume at the end of the season. Big time top 10 win at home in the conference.
It might not weigh as much as it would have if Illinois stayed top 10 or finishes top 10. Same thing for Clemson. But yeah, for the majority, they're going to look at where did you play them during the season? What were they ranked during the season? That's going to be the main thing there. So that's a huge win for Indiana. That's a massive win for that football program.
Props to them for kind of cementing themselves as maybe part of that top tier of Big Ten teams at this point. They made the playoffs last year. Signetti is continuing to put that program forward and get it on the right track.
And he was at Alabama before, and they were talking about it right before halftime in that game. I got to see whoever the field reporter was that day go up to him and ask him, Coach, da-da-da-da. And it was the most Nick Saban answer I've ever heard. They were already winning by 2-3 touchdowns, and all he could talk about was the things the team didn't do wrong. He's locked in. That team has the right focus and the right guy at the helm. So, Indiana could be a team to watch. Right now, they would be the 4th best team in the Big Ten, in my opinion, behind Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and and then Indiana. And those top three are in no particular order, but they're the fourth best team in the Big Ten right now, and you could easily see 4 Big Ten teams make it to the playoffs this year. So that was a great win for Indiana. Another big win for a program that's felt in need of one for a while, especially with all the money they've spent now over these last 2 years. Texas Tech blew the doors off Utah.
And it was, in my opinion, more significant because they did the majority of that with their backup quarterback.
Still put up 35.
The starter left second or third quarter. I don't particularly remember, but it was a close game up until that point. It was like a 3 or a 6 point game. And then in the fourth quarter, Will Hammond, I think is his name, the backup, they come in, something sparks, and they drop like 20 points out of nowhere. 20 unanswered. They end up winning by like 20.
3 scores, like 24 points, I think. I think it was 34-10.
On the road in Utah.
Against what many considered, like, maybe at this point in the season, the Big 12 favorite.
I think at that point they were. It was probably Utah and then Texas Tech right
and
underneath
ASU them. Somewhere close to the mix. You know, they finally got a win this weekend, and they've got a big matchup coming up this weekend for them. So a lot of movement in the Big 12, but it was a big win for Texas Tech, and I think the biggest thing that I saw from them that we haven't in recent years, they've always been able to put up points. They've always got some dogs at wide receiver, right? Like, they've always got the ability to put up points, especially in the Big 12, right? Just air raids, bombs over Baghdad type of offenses. They've never been able to stop anybody, though. Their defense has just gotten outscored all the time, bro. Like that, and that was the most encouraging thing I saw from that team if they're going to be real contenders in the Big 12 this year, is they had a good front four in that game. They were able to get to Dampier a couple times, and they never really allowed Utah's offense to get in a rhythm and get rolling. And so if you're a Texas Tech fan, if you're looking for the Red Raiders to make some noise in the Big 12 this year, that's a very encouraging sign for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
I agree. Now, currently, the Big 12 kind of seems like a conference to me, like how it looked last year. Whoever gets that auto bid, depending on their matchup, could give a team a scare, but Texas Tech kind of feels like last year's Arizona State right now. I need to see
some more.
I need to see a little bit more. I need to see them, at this point, really go undefeated.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know their schedule off the top of my head, but it's the Big 12. So unless they're playing a big out-of-conference opponent, they can't have anybody like too crazy. I got it right here if you want me to pull it up real quick.
If they keep playing dominant football and they don't drop any game that they're not supposed to, and they go undefeated, I would feel pretty good about it if they face, a second-tier SEC team who got an at-large bid, maybe like in Indiana.
So coming up, they've got Houston. That's a dub. Kansas, who looks pretty solid this year, but should be a dub. And they play Arizona State, which will probably be their biggest matchup the rest of the season, depending on if Arizona State can pull it out against Baylor this weekend. That'll be a big-time Big 12 matchup. Then Oklahoma State, who just fired Mike Gundy, they're going to be crap this year. Kansas State, who's very disappointing this year, they're 1-3. BYU, who's number 25 right now, that could be a decent game. And then UCF and West Virginia. So realistically, there's 2 games on that schedule for Texas Tech that are actually should be competitive games, and the rest should be easy 10-point double-digit wins.
So as long as they walk into those 2 games and take care of business and finish undefeated going into the Big 12 championship,
they're in.
If they win that and get the auto bid, that team is a threat in the playoff.
If they go undefeated and then lose the Big 12 championship, that's the only way I see 2 Big 12 teams making it in this year, is if Texas Tech goes undefeated and then they're 12-1 after the Big 12 championship, they'll get in, and then obviously the Big 12 champion will have an auto bid. Other than that, now the way teams are looking, I don't think there's any way that 2 Big 12 teams make it into the playoffs this year.
I don't think so either. Do you want to bounce to the SEC next?
Yeah, we can go over Auburn, Oklahoma real quick.
That was really the only marquee matchup in the conference this weekend.
You had South Carolina and Missouri, but I think South Carolina, after that one loss, already lost a lot of its hype, and then going into this game, getting beat by Missouri like that.
They lost by 9.
Yeah, no, what? Is that a true freshman in Bo Prabula, or did he transfer?
He transferred from Penn State, but he didn't get a lot of
playing time behind Aller. So That's a tough loss for South Carolina. Their season's kind of gone now.
And
I mean, they'd have to win out and get a little lucky with some breaks in the SEC for them to be a playoff team. So that's tough for them, but Missouri looks good.
Missouri, Bo Prabula, finally.
That running back tandem they got too, dude, those are some they run downhill.
Now, do you think Penn State is kind of looking at Bo Prabula at Missouri and thinking, maybe we have the wrong guy at the quarterback spot?
I don't know if they're thinking we got the wrong guy, but maybe they're going, man, we should have got this dude some playing time in some smaller matchups last year. We should have, made him more of a priority. We should have maybe
or just
tried and get Aller out of here. Like, go to the draft, bro. Like,
at least find some way to convince that kid to
stay because he looks better than Aller so far up to this point in the season.
Now, this weekend will be a big eye-opening game for Drew Aller. We will see this is the first
marquee matchup for him.
Really mediocre matchup that he's had up to this point.
I wouldn't call that mediocre. Oregon is a good football team.
No, I mean, like, they haven't played anybody worth nothing up to this point.
Yeah, so he's gone from nothing to now this will be a massive game.
So we'll see this weekend if, Aller or Prabula is kind of the way that they...
Yeah, because I think the winner of this game has an auto slot to the Big Ten championship, the way it's shaken out in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Because Penn State will still have to play Ohio State. I'm not sure if Oregon's playing them again in the regular season this year, but you kind of got a little bit more wiggle room as the team who wins this game versus the team who loses this game. They're going to be in a tight spot. But speaking of Auburn and Oklahoma, disappointed in Oklahoma. I thought they were by far and away the better team here. And honestly, I thought Auburn should have had that football game.
Auburn, now, you can't always say some calls robbed a team of a game, but there were some key plays in that game.
That fumble early in the game that they took back to the house for a touchdown.
That they called an incomplete
pass. That's a fumble. The only way that becomes an incomplete pass is when we're doing this frame-by-frame slow-mo after the fact. And John Gruden spoke on it. The analysts Saturday were speaking on it while I was watching the game. You can't take a live play, a live full-speed play, and take it down to millimeters or milliseconds and compare the two. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. If you're watching that real time, and even if you turn that down to half speed on the replay, that's a fumble.
Well, it just seems like we know what a
fumble is.
We know what a completed catch is. We know what an incomplete pass is. Why are we all of a sudden this season questioning that? We had that somewhat controversial play in the LSU Clemson game. A lot of people were speaking on it both ways. There was another moment in a week 1 game, I don't remember, but people were speaking on that as well. And then now, just use the eye test, and now that we have all this replay, don't just immediately be like, oh, we got to review it. We got to review it.
You can review it, but to me, there was not irrefutable evidence that that was not a fumble. And now, again, like you're saying, we're constantly is it a fumble? Is it not a fumble? Well, we have a rule book that's gotten better over the years.
And we have years of old calls and old data to where...
It should be like a judgment, like in a court case, bro. First things first, they're going to rely on previous judgments made to help here. Why can we not do the same with some of these calls? And then there was an egregious DPI that should have been OPI late in the game. I didn't get to see the play. I've just heard about it. And I guess I'm kind of regurgitating what everybody else is saying, but if everybody's saying it, it's got to be true.
And then the worst one, in my opinion, was that fake substitution that led to a touchdown.
I forgot about that. That's BS.
It's horrible.
That's BS. And anybody who says Auburn's got to pay attention. It's like, no, that was a clear manipulation of the substitution rule.
It was so bad that the SEC had to make a statement after the game about that call.
Because that was Bush League.
And then, honestly, if you take that touchdown off the board, I think Auburn is up by 1. I think Oklahoma won 23-17.
Something like that.
Auburn's up 1 if you take away that touchdown.
They also start the game with a ton of momentum if you don't reverse a fumble that to me seemed very clearly a fumble.
That's 7 more points Auburn's way. And with that substitution, you can't guarantee that if you don't, like if you take that away, you
that
can't.
they're not going to score that same drive.
But it's the principle and
of it being a fair and equitable game. And it wasn't in that moment. That was a very Bush League play call, in my opinion. And the fact that it was allowed to go through. And then, like, I just don't get the SEC coming out and making statements after the game. Like, nobody wants to hear that crap.
it doesn't change anything.
Why are we always getting statements about, oh, well, the call should have been this? Well, that doesn't help us right now. And where were you 3 hours ago? How could the offices not take a little bit of extra time in that replay booth and go, no, it should be there? You're calling into an office. Why is there another office past that can override you after the fact? And there's so much just crap going on there.
There's people in, I think it's like Birmingham or something. The SEC headquarters. People are watching every game that happens, and
they're calling into the ref on the field, watching it, and they're discussing it. So, are you saying that your employees in that office are inadequate, or do you have a horrible communication chain? Because for you to come out right after the game, what changed in the 2 or 3 hours that you had somebody from your office watching the play earlier? That doesn't make any sense to me.
And now Oklahoma's ranked 7th, and Auburn's not ranked anymore, and one of those teams has a loss that they don't deserve.
No, they don't. They played a great football game. Speaking of a great football game, my brother Kale got in, played a few snaps for Connor Liu. It was all over the place. Barstool tweeted about it, and he gave up no pressures while filling in for the All-American. So I'm going to clap it up. For brother. Great job. Yeah, it's a tough loss for Auburn on the schedule that, like you said, they don't deserve. And now with Mateer out, I saw an update before. We thought 3 to 4 weeks, guaranteed month, because he broke a bone in his hand that requires surgery. So it's a guaranteed month.
Did you see if it's his throwing hand or if
it is his throwing hand? I'm like 99% sure.
That's really not good for Oklahoma. Now they have a bye week this week, but after their bye week, they really start getting into the trenches.
Well, Kent State's easy.
Kent State after the bye week, they'll get through that.
But then you got Texas. And honestly, bro, that sucks just as a college football fan. Like, you want to see the two teams at their best playing each other. Like, that's one of the greatest rivalries in college football.
And now for a month, we're going to have a top 10 team playing on primetime on national TV with a backup quarterback.
And it's not a fun place to be as a fan. Michigan, Nebraska, all I'm going to say on that game is this. I think it was Tom Fernelli on CBS the other day said he was done with Dylan Raiola. I think that's the most ludicrous, just absurd, I've never watched football a day in my life take of all time. He threw for 308 yards and had 3 passing TDs, I think, maybe 4 total. And the one pick wasn't great. But we're talking about a primetime matchup in a big game, if you pay attention to social media at all, with Bussin', calling it the Bussin' Bowl, right? Like, there's some players out there that know about it. There's some pressure on that game. You're also trying to make it a trophy game, and Nebraska hasn't won in forever. There was a lot of pressure on that kid in that game, and he played a great game. Like, he goes down and scores a touchdown, puts him ahead, and then the defense lets Justice Haynes run up the middle like the Red Sea is parting and takes it 75 yards to the house untouched. And you're out here as an analyst saying you're done with the guy who threw for 308. Bro, he's thrown for like 1,200 yards and like 14 TDs to 1 interception in 4 weeks. I'm so tired of that crap on social media. Look at the game. You know what lost Nebraska the game? Discipline, penalties, poor tackling, and bad defense. They couldn't get a stop when they needed it.
Yeah, I think Raiola is going to be fine. On the other side of the coin there, props to Bryce Underwood he didn't look great against Oklahoma. He gets another big-time environment without their head coach still. I think, that was the second game without Moore. And they said they're finally going to let him loose a little bit. And Underwood, he played well on the road.
In Memorial Stadium. That place holds the record right now in all of college football for the most consecutive sellouts. That's not an easy place to play.
And he handled business and got Michigan a big win. And in my opinion, a lot of people were favoring Nebraska in that game. So we'll see what he does the rest of the year. They still got Ohio State at some point. I think their schedule does lighten up a little bit, so it might be a good true freshman campaign for Underwood.
He might be able to slide himself into that conversation for, a bottom 4 spot in the CFP. The last thing, obviously, we have to touch on it. Clemson's toast.
Clemson's done.
They're cooked.
It's just embarrassing at this point.
I just don't, with all that talent, are you a coordinator away? Is it the culture? Like, what are we talking about? And I'm also tired of Dabo playing the victim card. Do you not believe in yourself?
Well,
is that the problem here?
He plays a little bit of both. He's at some point he's like, well, we've won the ACC out of the last 10 years. Like we've won 2 or 3 titles. Like, what are you gonna do? Like if you want to get rid of me, get rid of me.
Yeah, like if you're tired of winning, like send me on my way. I'm not going to sit on a beach. I'm going to go somewhere else and win. He has those moments, and then he has the moments where he's talking like, well, go out and look at some of these teams, compare their standards to our standards. Why are we held to such a high standard? And it's like, because you were good, Dabo. Good teams get held to high standards. What are we talking about? Like, come on, man. Like, let's use some common sense. It's not that hard to figure out. You are fresh off 2 national titles less than a decade ago against one of the most dominant teams that college football had ever seen. And now you're wondering why people have a high standard for you? Give me a break, man. Give me a break.
I'm not sure what it is with that team, but two home losses in their first 4 games this year. A loss to Georgia Tech.
A loss to Syracuse by double digits, mind you.
Their only chance at this point is to win out and win the ACC championship, but they still got to play Miami, and they still got to play Florida State. Even if they win,
they still got to play South Carolina.
And they still got to play South Carolina. And even if they win out and go 9-3, they still got to win the ACC championship.
Which means they need some help to get in that game. Mm-hmm. Which I don't see enough carnage in the ACC this year to get them there.
And I just don't see that team improving enough to win 9 straight games.
Not after their start, dude. Like, that's a defeated team right now. In the locker room, like, you're defeated as that team. Because you kind of feel like with 3 losses now, what are we playing for? There's zero chance you're going to get an at-large bid as an ACC team that lost to Syracuse. No disrespect to Syracuse at all. They played a hell of a football game. But let's call a spade. A 3-loss team with one of those being Syracuse, the other one being Georgia Tech, you're not getting in. So it's a lost season for them. I don't agree that Dabo should be gone yet. I really think he still might just be a coordinator hire away from getting the best out of both sides of the football with the talented roster he's got, and they're not going to get any better going and finding somebody else.
No.
For Clemson fans now, it should just be a wait and see. Let's see what we get the rest of this season, and then let's see what we get next season. If we get the same thing next season, all right, I'm cool to hear clamoring for Dabo's job. But at the moment, there's nobody on the planet right now that's going to go take that job and it's going to give you a better chance.
No. There's nobody.
So that's it on the recap. We'll hit on preview this weekend. Obviously, you'll see me repping it. It is Bama Hate Week. It is a massive week for my Georgia Bulldogs. Second year under Kalen DeBoer. As bad as we started last year, we should have won that football game. We are at home between the hedges. It is going to be a blackout, which if you're not a Georgia fan, go look up a blackout. It's one of the greatest traditions in all of college football, and we rarely pull it out. So when we pull, it'd be like if Penn State took their whiteout and only did it for huge primetime marquee matchups at night every 3, 4, 5 years. That's what a blackout is for us. It's an electric environment. That stadium is going to be absolutely rocking. We've got the pieces. Gunner looked good. The wide receivers look good. The run game is getting better. The defense is improving. And Alabama, to me, is not a better football team than we are at this point in the year. Ty Simpson has had one good game. We got to get some pressure on him. We've got to establish a run early, and we've got to get out quick and punch them in the mouth. And then we need an electric Kirby halftime speech.
That's really going to be the key there. Kirby is the king right now, in my opinion, of getting the boys fired up.
And halftime adjustments.
And Alabama is starting to get back on the right track. I mean, they haven't really played anybody since the Florida State game, but sometimes you don't necessarily need a big-time win or a big-time game.
Well, they did blow out Wisconsin, and the offense looked really good in that game. Both teams are coming off a bye week, so I'll be interested to see who that affects more. Who starts slower? I think whoever starts fast will finish fast, and that'll be the winner of the game. It's going to be really hard, in my opinion, to have a really slow first half and be down 2 or 3 scores for either squad going in the second half and come back like Georgia did last year. There's just so much talent on the field.
And I did see Bama's starting running back is going to be back, Jam Miller. I don't really know how much that's going to affect the offense. But in my opinion, this is a game where Georgia should win by about 10 points.
We have every ability to cover the spread right now, which I think is set at like 4.5. Like, we should win, I'm going to say by 2 field goals. 10 points, a little lofty. It is kind of like our white whale. Other than the national championship, we beat them one other time, I think, in the last decade. So, they're our white whale. We always come into that game nervous. But being at home, you've got that winning streak on the line. If you beat Bama, I feel really confident in the ability to be a 12-0 SEC squad. I really do. Because Bama at this point in the season is better to me than Texas is right now. And I don't know how much more Texas is going to get ramped up by week 6, week 7 when we play them. And then I'll learn a lot about Ole Miss, which we'll play about week 8. And what is it, Trinidad Chambliss? Is that correct? Learn a lot about him as a quarterback this weekend when they take on y'all, which we'll go to next. Obviously, you know who I'm taking. It's the dogs all the way. I'm putting the house on money line. We're riding that till the wheels fall off. So go dogs. We're going to get them between the hedges this week. Let's go to your matchup.
Now, this is always a big-time game for us. I hate Ole Miss. I don't like them. It's not really like a big rivalry.
I'd say it's a pretty big rivalry, in my opinion.
And this is going to be a really big game for us because we're going to learn a lot.
About your offense.
We're going to learn a lot. I need to see the defense continue what it's been doing. 4 weeks in a row, defense still just unstoppable. Now, everybody's hyping up this Trinidad Chambliss kid. He played Arkansas and Tulane, 2 bad defenses.
True. He did have to outscore Arkansas, but I still get your point.
He hasn't faced a defense like this. Our offense finally started to get going a little bit last week against Southeastern Louisiana. But, I mean, we put up 50,
a win's a win.
We put up 56. And
there's some extra fuel to the fire this weekend as well.
I know. Thank you, Whit. Thank you, Whit Weeks, for adding a little bit to the fire.
Are you thankful for that, or are you a little bit nervous for that? Because, I mean, if I'm Lane Kiffin now, I'm wanting to beat the brakes off of you guys. I'm wanting to, he wanted to win before, but I'm wanting to absolutely smoke you now. I'm wanting every single play to be ran at whatever gap Whit Weeks is in. And I'm telling my offensive lineman, I'm giving you $100 every time you put that dude on his ass. I'm not a dad, but I'm just thinking as a dad, I'd be wanting to whoop their ass now.
I just don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they have anybody on that offense that's really going to be able to contain him, especially after he got ejected after that BS last week. That was 2 weeks ago. My bad.
I'm praying for you, and that holds true. I really am, because I sat on here and made a fool of myself last week when I said the same thing about the Atlanta Falcons going up against the Carolina Panthers. So I hope for you it works out, because so far talking shit on here for me has not.
I'll decide my feeling after the game, because it'll be based on that.
It'll be based on the outcome for sure.
But if the offense moves the ball, we will win. We're getting disrespected. We're getting disrespected by analytics. We're getting disrespected by Vegas. The number 4 team in the country is an underdog. Are we being serious?
At home.
No, it's in Ole Miss.
It is at Ole Miss?
Yeah, but a top 5 team in the country being an underdog,
is it a 1.5 point spread?
It's 2.5, 3 to Ole Miss right now.
Ole Miss is top 20.
Yeah.
That's a home bump. That's all that is. That's really all that is. But I could see it by game day going down to 1.5. Yeah, probably 1.5.
I just need to see the offense start rolling
early
from the first play.
Yeah.
If we can do that, if we can run the ball, if Nuss does what he needs to do, doesn't turn the ball over, we're gonna put him to work. I
do agree. The last game we'll kind of touch on, because we haven't got to watch really either team play, is Oregon Penn State. I don't have a lot of breakdown on this game to go into. I believe it is at Penn State, which is big for Penn State. It's a primetime game.
And it's the whiteout.
It's the whiteout, so it'll be a big game. We'll learn a lot about both teams and both quarterbacks, in my opinion. How much has Drew Aller progressed in his ability to command that offense in big games? And how far along is Dante Moore? Is he ready for the big lights? Is he ready for the big stage? Or is he going to, face some difficulties against a good defense on the road in his first primetime matchup as a quarterback of the Ducks. So that's really what I'm watching that game for. It'll be on a smaller TV that is not the Georgia TV, obviously. So I'll do my best to keep up with it, but I don't really have a pick. I don't really have any predictions for that game. I don't know what to expect because I haven't gotten to watch either squad, really.
The only thing I can say really is I will pick against Drew Aller until he proves me wrong.
Fair enough.
He's had plenty of opportunities to show us what he can do in a big-time game, playing in the Big Ten. They made the playoff last year.
The Notre Dame game.
I just haven't seen anything from him that makes me think, yeah, they're gonna go down there and they're going to dominate on the field, and Drew Aller is going to put a show together. And right now, I trust the Oregon offense a little bit more. I mean, it is rolling like a freight train.
And for Oregon's offense, normally, it doesn't matter who they're playing. If they're putting up points and numbers like that against crappy opponents, they're normally pretty good about translating that into good opponents. We haven't really seen in the Dan Lanning era a big fall off between them smacking bad opponents and then the offense fizzling against good opponents.
So that's really all I have. I'm leaning Oregon, but this is probably the biggest weekend of college football we've had up to this point.
So far, yeah, I definitely say so far. Another big thing that's going to be on Saturday, if you are a sports fan, you're relishing in this Saturday of sports, the Ryder Cup is going to be on Saturday as well. Obviously, the boys are Team USA all the way. I'm going to be really interested to see who we got out there. Outside of Scotty and Bryson, I just don't see very many, dogs on the team. I don't see many of these guys out there.
There's not really many guys on the team that can rise to the occasion and have that fire. Like the European team definitely has more than that.
Ludwig, Rory. I don't know if Shane Lowry made it this year. I'm blanking on some of the guys' names. We haven't watched golf in a month or two since the Open, but
really the only advantage we have right now is it's in the States. It'll be in New York.
It's at Bethpage Black, a track that Keegan Bradley knows really well. I feel like his familiarity with that track is going to be really good for our guys and his ability to put guys in good matchups. I do think that is an advantage that Team USA has, so I'm happy for that. I'm a little upset. I really wish he would have picked himself as a playing captain. He was playing such great golf all year, but even more so down the stretch. That was a guy I really wanted to see play. But I do also understand with all the media, obligations that week and all of those things and picking the matchups and stuff, it's a lot to be a playing captain. So I respect it. But yeah, go America.
Go Team USA. And I feel like this is a good spot here to transition into our two segments. We're going to start with the good look of the week, and I'm going to let you start.
Oh, you want me to start?
Yeah, I'm going to let you start this week.
I focused too much on my report card. I had not gotten my good look yet.
Okay, so I'll start.
Yeah, you go ahead, because there's a few things in the brain right now, but I want you to start. I think I got something, but I want you to start.
Okay, my good look is going to be that first day, or really the first morning, where you can start feeling it become fall. You wake up and you walk outside, maybe you got to take your dogs out or something, or you just got to go to class or work or something, and you feel that cool breeze in the air. There's some dew on the grass.
It's 60 degrees.
And you're like, we are in fall. And
we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's football season. Chili's going to be in the crock pot. Bros are going to be at the crib watching football. Times are going to be had. Beers are going to be drank.
You don't have to turn the AC on. You don't have to turn the heat on. You could ride around with the windows down.
That's the most comfortable sleep you'll get all year.
Yep.
All year. Give me some good October sleep.
Yep.
Oh, give me some good October sleep.
That first day where you can start to tell the weather's changing just a little bit, and we're not in summer territory anymore. We're starting to get into fall territory. That's my good look this week.
That's fantastic, bro. That's really good. All right. Mine's going to be a little bit deeper than that.
Okay.
Just a little bit, but I'm not going to get too far into the weeds on it. My good look of the week is going to be finally seeing hard work pay off.
That's so awesome too.
Because me and you, we're best friends. So we know everything that's going on in each other's lives. And I have something pretty big for myself that will be a big accomplishment for myself when I finally make it happen here in the next month or so. I'm kind of just waiting on us to go on our trip and when we get back. So I'm not going to say what's going on. Just that it's going to be a big accomplishment. And for the people watching at home, like, it just feels so good to know that, like, the last 6 months, the last year, like, we've had our head downs. We're not going out. We're not hanging out with people every weekend. Like, we've been in the lab and, like, cooking, really, like, working hard and just knowing what we want to accomplish and finally seeing that pay off.
And that's different for everybody. For us, we have this podcast that we bring to you guys. We see hard work. We work so hard on this. This is probably the hardest thing that we work on.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot because we're both full-time college students, and I clocked like 32 hours of work last week, and you're normally doing about the same.
So, yeah, I mean, we have a lot of things that we're working really hard on for you guys, whether it's doing well in your classes, whether it's working hard at work and getting a promotion or something, whether it's something in your personal life, like developing friendships or a new relationship and seeing that kind of blossom and everything.
Taking care of your mental health, going to the gym. I think that was a big thing when I was thinking about this stuff. Really on the car ride over here this morning, I just had some chill music on and the windows down. It was 68 degrees. And I was just like kind of overwhelmed with like gratitude and like appreciation for where my life is at now versus where it was at a year ago, because I was in a rough spot. And just to know that like it's finally paying off in things, and also being proud of myself just in the small wins. And like people need to take away like that too. Maybe something minuscule to somebody else could mean so much to you. So just like be proud of those things that are hard to you. Like, it doesn't have to be hard to anybody else. It doesn't have to be some monumental accomplishment. You don't have to make your first $1 million by 25 or buy your first house for you to be proud of yourself and be proud of the work that you've put in. You can really look at it more on a microscopic level, some small wins that maybe you just started in the gym and it was you were scared to go to a public gym, and like it's a big win for you. Maybe it was, like you said, like fostering a new relationship after some heartbreak or some hurt, and like that's big for you. Like whatever it is, just take the time to like really realize how much you're putting in, and don't let other people diminish the wins, no matter how small you think they might be. So that's my good look of the week.
That might be the best good look we've had up to this point.
It felt good. It's just been something on my mind, and like something I felt compelled to share with people is like, be proud of yourself and be proud of how far you've come. So
yeah, that's awesome.
All right. We'll get off kind of the sentimental shit and we'll go to our report card, because I'm about to light up an organization. Did you want to go first? Or are you cool if I just...
I'm going to let you sit on that a little bit. I'm going to let the intensity build up.
We could go F and F.
Okay,
like
let's do that then.
BB. Let's kind of go snake draft style. So you can start with your F.
My F, I'm not going to get too much into it. It's really just Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy. Now, the news came out today before we filmed this, so this will be a couple days old when you guys see this. Mike Gundy is gone after 21 years, and at this point, it's about time. Losing at home to Tulsa
is bad.
There's another decent team that starts with TUL that's not Tulsa.
They got smoked by Ole Miss this weekend.
But that is just an inexcusable loss. If LSU did something like that, I'm not an LSU fan anymore. So
no, I mean, Georgia loses to Georgia State at home, like, we're crashing out.
Only scoring 12 points against Tulsa and losing at home and getting fired 2 days after, you're getting a big fat F on the report card.
All right, my F is going to go to an entire organization. From the top down, just piss poor since the colossal collapse in the 2016 Super Bowl. My F this week goes to the Atlanta Falcons organization, most specifically that coaching staff.
I saw this coming.
The blunders in that game are inexcusable. They should all be looking for Metro Atlanta jobs at Waffle Houses, bro. They should be looking for line cooks at Waffle House, because they have no business wearing a headset being on the football field. One of the most egregious things I've ever seen in the game of football. You take a timeout because you can't get a play call in. You come out of the timeout, you take a delay of game. I can't get any louder than I just was, so let me go a little bit softer. You came out of a timeout, took a delay of game. A delay of game out of a damn timeout.
Were you watching the game when it happened?
No, I was at work.
Okay.
And thank God I was at work, so I had something to keep my mind off of the game, because every time I saw it, it made me want to, like, go kick a wall down, bro.
Just what are you doing? You take a timeout and you have 40 seconds on the play clock.
You shouldn't even have. They went into a huddle after a timeout, bro. You shouldn't even have to go. You go straight to the line. What on God's green earth were you talking about for 60 seconds that you didn't know what you were going to go do on that next play? What were you asking him how his kids were doing in school? Like, what the hell? That is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in the game of football. Not to mention, you release Younghoe Koo and you sign this dude to a 2-year deal, and he comes out and he absolutely shanks his first 2 field goals.
Now, I will say a little bit in his defense. He did go 5 for 5 at Minnesota.
But 5 for 5 and then 0 for 2 means you suck, in my opinion.
And then
you have to be able to rely on a kicker in today's NFL. And you go 0 for 2, and then the most embarrassing part, you put up a big fat goose egg against the 0-2 Panthers, dog. A team I sat on here last week and said we were going to go in and put belt to ass. So I embarrassed myself for you guys, and that's on me. That I need to take responsibility. Hand up. That's on me for embarrassing the shit out of myself, knowing that they let me down time and time again. So maybe I need the F. Maybe my faith and my hope in that organization deserve the F on the report card this week. Maybe we'll split it. It's a group project because, damn it, that was embarrassing.
If you want to take part of that F, I'll let you have it.
I'm going to take it. I need to sit on it. I need to let it fester. I need to ignite something in me. So somehow, some way I can get near that team and go, hey, figure it the hell out, because we're tired of this on this side.
That's a really good F. I'm going to hop into my B.
Go ahead.
My B is special teams in the NFL this past weekend.
Okay, I can get down with that.
You had some very bad situations.
Very bad.
Rams getting blocked and then getting
twice.
Rams getting blocked twice and eventually letting one of them take it to the house.
Lose the game for him.
And then you had the Bucks get a blocked field goal. And then you had the Bucks win on a field goal. So there's a little bit of good and bad in here.
Yeah, because it's almost like it's bad for the team that got the field goal kick blocked, or like a team that gets it blocked twice. But it's really good defense on the part of the special team, so it's kind of like it evens out.
It was weird. You had a lot of blocked field goals, and then you had the Bucks win on a field goal. You had the 49ers win on a field goal. The Chargers won on a field goal. So there's a little bit of good, making some big-time field goals, and there's some bad because we saw – I think there was one more blocked field goal that we saw. I think there were 3 of them. So, yeah, I mean, you had some good. You had some that would get an A on the report card. You had some that get C's and D's. So
it's a good average. Yeah. I like that. I like the way you've approached the B so far, because I've struggled a little bit. You've done really well. So I'm going to pivot. I had Miami down on here, and the more I think about it, you're playing a rival, an in-state rival. You won by 3 scores. I don't really think I can give that a B, because it's not a mediocre performance, and it's in an in-state rivalry game. Florida coming off a tough loss. I don't think anybody expects you to go in there and beat them and the spread be 27.5. So I'm going to pivot. My B is going to be Oklahoma. They did win. Top 25 matchup in the SEC. They did win. So you can't take anything away from a win. But the way in which they won, I'm not happy with. It was very sloppy. You don't feel like they deserve to win the football game, and Mateer comes out injured. So you go to 4-0 on the season, which deserves some praise, especially in your second year in the SEC, coming off what was a very disappointing year for a lot last year. But you didn't do enough, in my opinion, to get an A and be that top dog this week.
Like we talked about earlier, there were a lot of things in that game that we felt should have gone Auburn's way. So I like that B there because it was... it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. It was.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. Go ahead. I'm rambling now. I don't even know where I'm going with that.
All right, my A is going to go to the Detroit Lions and David Montgomery. Now, Lions are still they're still a top 10 team in the NFL. People forgot about them a little bit or kind of wrote them off a little bit after the Week 1 loss to Green Bay.
And losing the coordinators. People are like, oh, they don't have Ben Johnson. They don't have Aaron Glenn. Dan Campbell can't coach without him. We heard all the things after a Week 1 loss.
The Lions do not play good against the Ravens. They play even worse in Baltimore. and a lot of people, all of ESPN, all of NFL Network, all of pretty much every big major media network was picking the Ravens. But the Lions came in there, and on the back of 12 carries and 151 yards and 2 touchdowns, they put up 38, and they send the Ravens they send the Ravens to 1-2.
They put up 38, and Jared Goff threw 1 TD pass.
Yeah.
And we saw some of that creativity come out again last night under new offensive coordinator. I keep forgetting his name.
John Morton.
A hell of a game scheme last night.
And that's a little bit what I was talking about either last week or the week before. Like, sure, the coordinator and coaching carousel is always all over the place every season, but you got these in-house guys. They know how the offense works.
That have been there.
So they can, just because Ben Johnson leaves doesn't mean every single play that he ever called is gone.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of
And you saw in that 4th down play to score a touchdown, the handoff to Amon-Ra and then the pitch to Gibbs.
That was such a smooth play.
That's a Ben Johnson play right there.
Well, not only that, it was the details in those plays. They were talking about it on the broadcast, the way in which he handed it to Amon-Ra
to where it was
forward.
To where it was like this.
And it's forward to where he could just go ahead and push it right back. I mean, it was just a beautiful play call, beautiful execution. Not only that, I have never seen a defense be able to contain Lamar Jackson in the pocket like that last night. Even when he stepped up and you thought he was about to slip, somebody grabs his ankles and takes him down at the line of scrimmage, right behind or right in front. And it was just a beautiful display of defense last night.
I guess I should really, instead of just highlighting Demon, I should highlight everybody on the line.
The whole team. I mean, the whole team performed.
Gibbs still played well. Laporta had a lot of big catches. Amon-Ra played well. The defense had 7 sacks.
Jared Goff did his thing, commanding the offense, not making any mistakes.
The O-line didn't give up a single sack.
And the O-line played very well.
2 of those new guys, even a guy like Tate Ratledge, showing out
as a rookie, another dog, another DGD. So they look good.
We normally do A, but now that we're talking about it, the Lions, you get an A+.
All right, I'm going to give the same to mine. My A+ this week is going to go to the Indianapolis Colts and Danny Dimes.
I love this story this year.
3-0, and I don't care who they played. I don't want to. It's any given Sunday in the NFL. The Browns just beat the Packers 13-10 because the Packers showed up with a mindset of, we're going to handle this team, and guess what? Their cockiness got them beat this week. So I don't care who you've played. They've put up 29-plus points in all 3 games this season. Jonathan Taylor's running the shit out of the football. Danny Dimes are giving him more control over the offense at the line of scrimmage than he ever got in New York. They're putting faith in them. They have built his confidence. He's getting everybody involved. That offense is spectacular. Now, the defense needs to improve for sure. I don't deny that. But you can't take anything away from a team as bad as they were last year, who have hung all their hopes and dreams on a number 4 project pick in Anthony Richardson, or number 3, whatever he was. I think he was number 4.
Mm-hmm.
They keep kind of like bouncing back and forth between kind of like a filler guy, an AR, and then a filler. They get Daniel Jones. They sign him to a decent deal for him as a backup. He wins the competition in the spring, and now we're getting that Danny Dimes that we expected in New York. And I love those stories for those guys because he seems like a great guy. And the New York media just has a way of beating a man when he's down, right? And yeah, he did get paid over Saquon in New York, and that might have been a bad signing. But to be honest, Saquon had already been injured, right? That offensive line was trash. I don't think they would be any better than they were with Saquon, the way he was getting beat up behind that O-line. And same thing for Danny Dimes, bro. So my A+ is going to go to him for rebuilding that confidence and taking a great football city in Indianapolis. It's a great football city. And giving them some hope. They're 3-0, dude. They've got some tough matchups coming up, but the Texans are 0-3. The Titans are 1-2 or 0-3. The Jags are 1-2, I think. Might be 2-1.
2-1, but
the Colts have a clear path to win the AFC South this week. And I am thrilled for Daniel Jones for seeming like he found a home.
And he's already earned $300K in bonuses.
Which is, we love seeing the guys get paid.
So, guys, comment your good looks in comment. I guess that works too.
Yeah, comment.
Drop your good looks in the comments, and if you got any grades you want to give anybody, we kind of bounce around with like some A+, some F. If you got like a C or a D that you want to drop in there too,
drop that in there.
Go ahead.
We'll be happy to, if we see a good one underneath here, we'll shout it out on the next pod. I'd love to get in and do some comments, get in the weeds with the boys and toss it out here. I guess the last thing you want to touch on, you want to preview the NFL coming up this weekend?
Yeah, because, a
couple marquee matchups.
Yeah, and like we talked about the Falcons already. We've talked about the Lions. We just briefly touched on the Packers and Browns. In my opinion, I think that was just a look-ahead spot, as Josh Pate likes to call it.
Yeah.
It's a look-ahead spot.
That's shit that gets you beat.
Yeah, you're already – I don't know who they play this week. Oh, they play the Cowboys. So you're looking – we're going to go to Dallas. Micah's coming back. We're about to put the work on Dallas on prime time. And you go into Cleveland with a team that has no hopes, and you just drop the ball.
And now I have no idea what to expect in this Cowboys game because the Packers got to get back on track. So do the Cowboys. They just got embarrassed, I believe, in Jerry's world.
No, it was in Chicago.
Why do I keep doing that? I keep saying it. Anyways.
Regardless of where it was.
17 points.
You got beat by more than what you scored.
To the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
The Chicago Bears.
Yeah, you let that defense only put...
You put 14 up.
Yeah.
On that defense. And now CD's out for a month. So, because they're coming off that loss too, it could either be a really tight game that I could see Dallas pulling out, or the Packers are going to go in there and give them a slacking.
Honestly, to this point in the season, the Cowboys' number one guy has been George Pickens. CD's been there, but...
Dak does like throwing to George.
He does, and CD had not found the end zone before getting hurt.
But he does take a lot of pressure off GP. Now everyone knows GP's the number one option, and he's going to get that number one option treatment, and they don't really have a whole lot of other outside threats. Javonte Williams has been a good addition for them in the run game, a guy that people were like, oh, this is such a Jerry signing, but he's played pretty well. But there's tough sledding ahead for the Cowboys.
Like you said, I don't know what to expect from that game now.
No idea. I have zero clue. A game I think I know a little bit more about is going to be the Bucs and the Eagles. That's going to be a dogfight. That's going to be a knockdown, drag-out, bloody, trench warfare dogfight.
And because of that, the Eagles are going to win.
More than likely. But the Bucs have found a way to win every tight game they've been in so far this season. They're 3-0.
Well, also now they don't have Mike Evans. Mike Evans is out for 3 or 4 weeks now.
It is true. Chris Godwin might be back this week, so maybe we see Amika get kind of slid outside. You get Godwin kind of worked back in there in the slot, but they are down a big piece in Mike Evans, and the Eagles there really seems to be no surefire way to beat them right now. You take away the pass game, cool, Saquon's going to run for 200. You take away Saquon, Jalen Hurts can piece you apart. I think he gets way too much disrespect.
As a passer.
As a quarterback. How many big-time winners in NFL history have we looked at and be like, oh, it's the team around him? We weren't doing that when Patrick Mahomes had Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and one of the best O-lines in football and a stellar defense with a Hall of Fame coach and Steve Spagnuolo. We weren't doing that then.
That's true.
When the 49ers were going on runs with Jimmy G and in the days of Colin Kaepernick, we weren't talking about how loaded those teams were. We weren't talking about the Aaron Rodgers teams he was on, right? Like, none of those things. He's like the only quarterback in recent memory, in my opinion, that when he wins, everybody goes, oh, it's your team. And when he loses, it's, oh, you suck. I think that's ridiculous. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football.
At this point, he's top 5 with the Super Bowl win.
Regardless of the stats, a winner is a winner. And I'd much rather have a guy that can throw for 150, 1 TD, and no turnovers and get me a win than a guy who's throwing for 350 and 3 and we're constantly losing tight games. Like, give me the winner 10 out of 10 times.
I agree. Next game, and this is real interesting, Ravens and Chiefs. Now, if you guys haven't been paying super close attention to the NFL, one of these teams will be 1-3 after this weekend.
And already be desperate, in despair for a playoff spot.
If I had to pick a winner right now, I'm taking Baltimore.
Where's it at?
I think it's in Kansas City.
Give me the Chiefs.
I know. If the Ravens don't fumble If Derrick Henry doesn't fumble twice, there's a good chance that they're 3-0.
That is a good point, but it's also hard to play the what-if game.
It's true.
Detroit was already winning last night when he fumbled, and there's nothing saying that they go up 31-28 and Detroit doesn't march right back down the field and score another touchdown. But I do get where you're going. I just think, like, Chiefs right now to the Ravens are what Bama has been to my Dogs. If the Ravens beat the Chiefs, watch out for them going on a heater and being the AFC favorite for the Super Bowl. If they win, I think that's how pivotal this game is for them this weekend. I honestly don't feel like I can say the same thing about the Chiefs. I think they're Baltimore's kryptonite, which is why, like, if the spread came out right now, you know, I'd probably lean Chiefs money line right now just because of that history. But they could still be very underwhelming if they beat the Ravens this weekend. Whereas, like, I think the Ravens transform into a juggernaut if they can find a way to win that in Arrowhead this weekend.
They just have to get over the mental hump, in my opinion, because the Chiefs are still decimated. I don't know if they're going to have Worthy still. They're not going to have Rashee Rice. Pacheco is not what he was before he broke his leg.
Travis Kelce is losing his mind on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Dude's mental is all over the place.
Mahomes isn't in a groove right now.
He's looked bad for now 1.5 seasons. He didn't look good last year.
And it seems like things are clicking for the Ravens, and then towards the end of the game, they're just
giving it away.
Yeah, the 2 fumbles. Who'd they play? They beat somebody in week 2. I don't remember who it was.
Was it the Browns? Was it an ugly win against the Browns?
It was an ugly win against. It wasn't. They blew him out. But
did they?
Derrick Henry didn't have a good game, but they put up 40.
He had 11 yards on 13 carries or something like that.
I think that offense is rolling too much right now. For once, the Chiefs are actually going to have to try and keep up, and the offense is not where it needs to be right now for them to keep up.
All right, maybe you changed my mind. Like I said, they are the better team right now. The Ravens are, in my opinion, but they got to be able to overcome that mental hurdle. And for me right now, it just seems like a tough one for them, especially coming off that loss at home against Detroit. But that's going to be another really tight game, in my opinion. I think the last one we had written down was Colts-Rams.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Danny Dimes can put it together again, because this is probably the biggest matchup they've had.
It is. They opened up with the Dolphins, who they smoked. And they played the Titans, who suck. And then this last weekend
they played the Titans. I don't remember who they...
No, they didn't play the Titans this weekend.
No?
No. Keep talking for a second. I'll find it.
But I still got to see a little bit from the Rams. I mean, I don't have to see a little bit from the Rams because they played pretty well against Philly.
They just didn't close out. Offensively, they took their foot off the gas and played too conservative, too quickly. In today's NFL, I think they attempted 5 field goals. In today's NFL, unless you get a crazy defensive game like the Falcons had against Minnesota, you're not going to win a game attempting 5 field goals. You've got to get the ball in the end zone, and they just played too conservative, in my opinion, in the second half.
Who's that Colts game that we're missing?
You're right. 41-20 against the Titans this past weekend. 33-8 in week 1. And then a really good last-second win against the Broncos in week 2, 29-28.
That's right.
So they played some comp.
If the Colts, I think it's in L.A., if the Colts go out there and beat the Rams and they're 4-0, that's a sneaky threat we're looking at in the AFC there.
Yeah, especially in an easy division now to win.
And like we just saw with Packers and Browns and some Panthers Falcons any given Sunday.
And all you got to do in the NFL is make it to the playoffs. After that, it's anybody's ball game. You just got to make it.
We might be seeing a Daniel Jones resurgence MVP campaign right here.
I'd love to see it. To me, those are the best types of stories in the NFL. Just like Saquon having his resurgence he didn't have the fall off that Daniel Jones had, but he was still struggling in New York, just mentally, physically, it was wearing on him. He got a good O-line, and we saw what he had in the tank. I feel like we're kind of seeing the same thing from Daniel Jones, same way we're seeing it with Baker in Tampa Bay, and it's great for those guys who are such good guys who put in all the work, who sometimes are just ruined by being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Sometimes we saw with those other 2 guys you mentioned, sometimes all it takes is a change of scenery, and right now we're seeing what a change of scenery has done for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. So another big weekend coming up. We got UFC coming up in a couple weeks, so we'll finally be able to jump into that on here.
It's not this week. I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think episode 10 will be when we preview some UFC stuff, which
We got a Pereira and Ankalaev.
I've been waiting for it, dude.
I'm praying to God that's not a boring card, and that fight is much better this time between the two. Really hoping.
I mean, hopefully he gets a little bit of fire not being the champion anymore and like trying to go back after that belt.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he won it, the next fight he's just in there kind of standing around.
That is his game. That is his game. He's a kickboxer. That's just is what he is. But it'll be interesting because he is 38, and he's now made like he was a glory kickboxing machine, a legend in glory kickboxing. Then he comes over and puts himself top 10 in the UFC, top 15 all time in the span of 4 years, one of the most active champions the sport's ever seen. And then, yeah, he just kind of gets picked apart by Ankalaev. What kind of fire does he have at the ripe age of 38 years old coming back and trying to reclaim that title? And then we might get another cool matchup. I don't know if you saw this. Diego Lopez might fill in for whoever had to back out of the Charles Oliveira fight, move up to lightweight, and mano a mano, Brazilian versus Brazilian, go at it with Charles Oliveira.
That would be a really good fight.
That'd be a super fun fight to see.
So in a couple weeks, we're going to preview that. We're going to talk about some of those matchups, and I mean, we're going to be watching it. We love some UFC. We hope you guys do as well.
Love the UFC. Dana White, shoot us an invitation. We'd love to sit.
Our inbox is open.
Wide open.
So I think that's going to do it for episode 8 of the Chirp Kings podcast. If you guys haven't checked out the interview with Oliver Drakeford yet, please go check that out and support the channel and support the guy. It's one of our buddies.
It's a great episode.
Continue watching the content. You know, if you've missed some episodes, go back and watch those. We post our shorts twice a day. So we're always having new content rolling in for you guys.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say, we've always got new, fresh content rolling in, fun games for you guys to play along with. So sit down, watch the videos, try and play those, maybe play them with some of your buddies,
They're good head-to-head games to go back to. And we got some head-to-head coming between me and Lance now that we've got a third guy kind of joining us for some things. So those are going to be cool. I wanted to give a quick shout-out to he's a friend of the pod now. He is a friend of the pod. He comments on every single podcast. He is a true A1 since day one. Shout out Corey Hernandez. I wish I had his @ right here with me, but that's his name. We're going to shout out Corey Hernandez. He's a friend of the show. Corey, when we finally make some merch, you'll be the first guy to get like a care package from the boys. You're the GOAT, bro. Just wanted to like shout him out because he's an icon.
I completely agree. Every time an episode comes out, I'm looking forward to see what Corey has to say.
And he watches from beginning to end, which he might not realize this. That means so much to us because we put a lot into putting this out. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it. We're trying to keep up with the games even while working all weekend and, trying to come up with good takes and breaking down games and, like, working on our knowledge of the game. And to see somebody constantly giving comments, and you commented about the vlog trip, bro. That was like minute 30 of the last podcast. So just huge shout out to you, bro, for being an absolute day one, just homie. You're a homie, bro.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, and we hope you see this at the end of this episode.
I really hope so.
You probably will, so we'll be looking forward to your comment.
Yeah, if you see it, bro, let us know you saw it because you're the best, dude. You are the GOAT.
But all you fellow Chirp, I'm not even going to add Chirp. All you fellow Kings out there, be sure to hit that like button, drop a comment if you enjoyed the comment, smash that subscribe button.
I'm talking about smash it.
We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers here. We're hoping we reach that soon, but as always, enjoy the content. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Peace.